Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, May 22nd. We are going to dive into two tracks today. It'll be two separate videos. We'll look at Parx races 1 through 10, and we'll look at Indy Grand races 1 through 9. The 10th race, 10th and or 11th race are quarter horse races, so we won't do those. But if you don't know me, again, my name is Dave May. I'm the creator of Thorostat on Twitter. Been running that for about 12 years, and am a NHC Tour member for the last 3 or 4 years now. I use Stats Race Lens, which we'll jump into here in a minute, to completely handicap on tour. So I'm going to walk you through how I handicap, how I'm able to find long shots, especially on the turf. I was going to pass today, but there's some turf racing at Parx and at Indy Grand because the weather's nice. So we'll dive into those and look at some pedigrees as well. But today we're going to start with Parx race 1. And let's just dive right in. Also, don't forget to subscribe at Thorostat on YouTube, at Thorostat on Twitter if you already don't follow us, and at Thorostat on Instagram. All right, let's dive into Parx here. Race 1, Parx. We got a 6 furlong maiden claiming event. As I mentioned before, I give out a top 4. Play the top selection as a win in place, as I recommend, and play the top 4 in exactas and trifectas. That's just a suggestion. Play them however you want to. I play rolling pick 3s on big days. I play pick 4s, the occasional pick 5. Yesterday we were live in the last leg of the early pick 5 at Santa Anita, but that's how we play the picks I give out, and hopefully you're following along. But we're going to look at race 1 here at Parx, maiden claiming. I think the 7 will be the top pick here. Just jump in and see if anything. We're not on the turf, but it's kind of hard not to pick a Dynaformer mare. They typically produce very high caliber class as well as running horses. On the bottom side, so it surprised me to see that there. I'm going to give a top 4 here. 7 Norlander over the 1 Run for Carl. Over the 5 JSK Pharaoh's Reign. Over the 4 Sacrificial Stone. So we'll pop into our dock here. Let me just bump this Indy Grand down so we're not looking at it. We're going to go 7, 1, 5, and 4. Race 1 at Parx. Race 2. We're looking at 6 furlong claiming. Typically in the 6 furlongs and shorter, I'm looking for early speed that's consistent here early in the pace figures on Stats Race Lens, and also consistent through the middle. Unless it's on the turf, I'll dive a little bit deeper, or if there's some consistent pace all throughout from late to early. Looks like this 3 has pretty consistent speed all throughout. I'm going to try to beat it. That's how I would do it in the NHC anyway. I like the 1 and the 5 here. So I think the 3 will hit the board for some more value. I like the 1 Jarlian over the 5 Nadude over the 3 Eben over the 6 BB Bad. So our top 4 will be 1, 5, 3, and 6. Race 2 at Parx. Again, 1, 5, 3, and 6. Race 2. Parx Race 3, we're looking at a 7/8 claiming. Something's a little wonky. Maybe it's younger horses. I'll take a look here. Or just off of layoffs with the class and pace figures here. Or they haven't run 7 furlongs often, these horses. But we see some early speed here, middle speed with the 6. Same thing. The 6 is going to be the favorite. I'm going to jump into the PPs and see if anything stands out. Yeah, lately raced horses off of layoffs. I was looking like the first horse here. Second time Lasix, first time blinkers. All right, we'll keep a looking at the 1, the 2. These little cards here are just angles I've set. Save me some time on the tour, so I can dive into specific horses faster and see if the angles I've created are uh, worthwhile, whether it's a positive or negative. If anyone wants to see any videos about stats specifically, just comment, ping me, let me know, and I'll actually create a video or videos around them because I do use them exclusively now. All right, the 6 is second off of a layoff, so looks like they all just haven't run at the distance. So I'm gonna go with the 1, Road to Dreams. And I'll show you why here again. It's first time blinkers, second time Lasix. It's also dropping in class. So a lot of different things happening here. John Service is hoping all those different changes for this 3-year-old filly just click for her. Also had a decent last couple workouts here at Parx as well. Mare swing, 25% ROI. Only 2 foals dropped. 1 has hit the board, and also 1 that was this horse. So we're gonna go 1 again as our top selection. Race 3, the 6, just because of all this early speed here, and the 6 is probably going to go off of the odds-on favorite. The 3 and the 4 underneath in our top 4. 1, 6, 3, 4. Race 3 at Parx. Now we're going to jump into race 4. Race 4, mile and 70 yards on the main track. Anything that stands out to me? The 4's got tons of middle to late speed. I'm going to take the 4 on top, Twannis. The 2 seems to press. The 6 completely slows down, which, while it does run early, some of these other late to mid horses have a little bit higher pace. So I believe that a couple of these late horses will just blow by. Haven't seen how Parx have been playing the last couple of days, but that's how I'm going to play it today. So I like in race 4, the 4 Twannis on top, the 2 Perfect Silent Cat, the 5 Predominate, and the 6 Semper Fidelis. Once again, race 4, Parx, 4, 2, 5, and 6. All right, this is where it gets fun. Here at Parx, race 5, we got 7.5 furlong, starter optional on the turf. Right now we've got 13 horses. None of them are listed as AEs or as MTOs. So before we even look at this pace figures, we're going to jump in and see if there's any older mares with decent pedigrees here for the turf. Then we'll go back through, excuse me, and we'll see if there's any production on any of these mares, if there's nothing that really kind of stands out. Because if there is, and it's kind of a coin flip on if I'm going to include a horse or kind of a waffling on if I'm going to include a horse underneath. I'm going to go with a more produced mare that has put out performers than a horse that's kind of on the fence of if they've ever run a speed figure or not. That's typically how I'll just play it. So we'll go back through. We'll work our way back up. Nothing really there. And I'm looking right here at the dams, performance in stats race lens. Nothing really there performance-wise. Nothing there. All right. It's only 3 out of custody here for the 9, but also Lee. So there's a couple things here on this 9. So we'll take a look at the 9 once we flip back into the true odds on stats race lens. Four horses here for the 4 out of tap tap tapping. Five, 3 in the money for the 3. All right, this is probably the longest we'll take. And I believe that was 9, 9, 5, 3. Let me just take a peek at the 5 again. I believe it was the 5. On these bigger cards, 9, 9, 4, and 3. Okay. So we need to round out a top 4. 13's got some early speed. Close, but not over or above or pressing this class rating here. The 4 and the and the 9 are on top there. So because of the other ROI factors that we just saw in the PPs, I'm going to take the 9 lease on top, 8 to 1 morning line over the 4, over the 13 over the 3, only because the 13 does have some of the speed here. The 3 kind of just um, falls off the pace once we look at the late figures here. So I'm going to go 9 on top of 4, 13, and 3. Race 5, first race on the turf at Parx. 6/8, 3/4 of a mile, starter optional claiming on the main track. We've got some middle late kind of pushers here. The 6. The 6 and the 1, I think we'll kind of hang on and putter along. The 2 is going to be my top pick in race 6 because I said I like the 3 to close into it to shake up some exotics, and then the 1 and the 6 will just hang on. I'm going to put the 1 over the 6. She's a super freak over Boss Kara just because of the higher late speed figures here. They've run pretty consistent early and middle here, according to True Odds and Stats Race Lens, which I use to handicap. So I'm going to go 2, 3, 1, and 6. Race 6 at Parx. 2, 3, 1, and 6. We're looking at race 7. This 4 has a lot of early speed and middle speed. I think this 4 may hang on this Harvest Moon. So I'm going to keep the 4 on top in race 7 on this Harvest Moon over the 1 Sundria, over the 6 Broadway Charlie Rose, over the 7 Argentina Girl. So race 7 we're going to go 4, 1, 6, and 7. Race 8 here at Parx. 6 furlongs allowance optional in race 8. This 1 has some early speed here. 5 looks like it starts moving middle of the pack. Has the highest speed figure considerably over the class and over where the 1 is kind of moved to. So I'm going to go with the 5, Lady Zeta, or Lady Zeta, over the 1, only because the 1 may hold on. I think the 2 will make a move over the 1, over the 2, Mia Tosca, and then our 4th choice is gonna be the 6, Out Dancing. So race 8 on the dirt, Parx 5, 1, 2, and 6. Allowance, mile and 70 yards. Pretty fast, high class speed figure ratings, and class ratings here. It's for 3-year-olds and up. This 9, Nimitz class. Wheels. To me, Stats has it as a 34 win percent. I'm gonna beat this horse, especially if it is a 2-to-1 morning line. I'm not even going to include it in the top 4, only because let's take a peek. Highest figure it's run in its 3 available figures here is a 102. These horses have clearly run higher than a 102. So let's beat it. Let's expect chaos to happen with how fast these horses are going to run early. So I like the 3, Irish Cork, over the 2, Wish for Peace, over the 5, Simovic, over the 10, Prince of Rain. So race 9, 3, 2, 5, and 10. And finally, turf race to wrap up the card here at Parx. I'm going to probably take a couple minutes to dive into this. We've got 15 horses. See if anything stands out. If the 15 draws in, it doesn't look like it's not going to draw in because it would have had an AE here. 84 is the speed figure to beat. There's a couple here that may light up the board at high odds, which Parx typically does. A in the last race and B on the turf. So let's take a peek at some of these mares real quick. For this one, I'm just looking for, since it's a route race, I'm going to look for some usual suspects for me. If anyone knows me, it's either going to be Kitten's Joy or the big one that's helped me in tournaments. Pinpoint races is going to be Dynaformer, mares out of Dynaformer. Got none of it. I'm not going to dive into the rest of the ROI. Is the 15 though, and also eligible, or are we running? That's the big question. Main track only, so that'll scratch. Main track only. It's interesting that Parx doesn't pull in those. All right, so we actually have a field of 10. So we're going to assume the 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 scratch. Beauty of, if you scratch them and resort them, they should gray back out. They did not. Oh, there we go. All right, so we're going to go with 91, but he drops pretty far. All right, we'll use the 1 underneath. Just to kind of prove the chaos that can happen here at Parx, especially the last race of the day is typically where in feeders, and I'm actually going to play today. I'm going to play on Horse Players, the Parx feeder, only because this race is pretty juicy. and typically we'll get you into the Friday tournament. So I'm gonna go with the 8, Katie's Uncle, over the 2, Beyond Best, over the 3, Hoku, and then I'm gonna just throw in the 1, just because I did have some early speed here. But morning line 10 to 1, fastest late. Um, if anyone draws in, it's probably going to be the 14. I'll make a caveat here. If 14 draws in, make 8, 14, 2, 3. So if that happens, bump the 1 out, add the 14. So here are our selections for today, races 1 through 10 at Parx. Let me know if you have any questions. Once again, subscribe to our YouTube at Thorostat. Like us on Twitter if you don't already. I'm going to break these down into individual races, so 10 separate videos as well. Let me know in the comments if you like the longer videos, the shorter ones. It'll help me on what content to focus on. But I'll break these down as well. Good luck today. And I'm going to also be playing these in a tournament. So I'll be playing along, and follow us again if you don't, and have a good Monday.